Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope everybody is doing good. Um, just wanted to tap back in and talk to you guys for just a minute. You know, so many people are starting to experience, a spiritual awakening, spiritual enlightenment. Many people that may have been practicing different spiritual systems, especially in the African American community, are beginning to wake up. Some have been awake for a very long time. Some are still starting to wake up. And when I use the term wake up, meaning that you stepped into a realm of awareness, and now you realize that some spiritual systems that you may have been involved in at any level, whatever level that was. Maybe you were just an everyday person in that system. Maybe you were a leader like I was in a system. But I believe that it's definitely not, it's by design that you had to walk through that channel that you walked through, and have those experiences that you had in order to get to where you are right now. And so I wanted to say, first of all, to not, those of you who are just starting to experience this or starting to turn a corner, don't get frustrated. Don't beat yourself down. Don't get angry, because that's one of the things that usually happens when you have been in a system for so long, but now you've come into another realm of awareness and you realize that system was not what it was promoted to you to be. Not so much because it was promoted or given to you intentionally to lead you down a rabbit hole, but because in many cases, like myself, we were handed these things, handed down from either maybe our parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and it was handed down to them, and it was handed down to them, and it was handed down to them, it was handed down to them. And so it's something that was constantly handed down, and we were just told to keep it and to never leave it, never forsake it, believe it, right? We understand now that belief requires no proof. It's just, it is because someone said it is, and it is because you believe what they told you, and so you accepted it, and that's what it is. And so that's one of the things we have to understand when it comes to belief, right? Belief requires absolutely zero proof that something is what they say it is, or what you say it is. It requires no proof, no validation, no deeper source to solidify what it is you say that you believe. And so, because of that, many of us may have been encapsulated by that particular belief system that we may have came from, right? But as we push throughout time and we start to progress, and I'm sure in many cases, many people, we always had questions, but maybe we didn't know what questions to ask, or maybe we had questions, but we were shut down and told that we were out of line, or it's out of order, or whatever it is, which a lot of times people give you that answer when they don't know exactly what to tell you, right? They don't have an answer for you, so they shut you down in that particular area. But it's okay, right? It's okay. It's nothing to be angry about, nothing to get upset with anyone about. I think that we have to understand it's all about processing. It's all about growth. It's all about growing in and growing out. But the fact that you were open to more growth, because it is that growth that brought you out of the box that you were in. that brought you out of the system that you may have been encapsulated in. I don't care what spiritual system it was, whether it was Christianity, Islam, Buddhist, whatever it is. You grew to the place where you begin to grow out, right? For whatever reason. People have their reasons for growing out, and people have their reason for always seeking truth. I've always been a seeker of truth. I never stopped seeking truth. I think even while I was doing my years in Christianity, even during a time period of I was pretty much born into it, and then I grew into my adult years into it. Later became a minister. Then became stepped into what's called in Christianity the fivefold offices. Matriculated in the fivefold offices. Walked under those titles. Ministered under those titles, and I've seen managed to. I believe that during that time period, there were times when I was able to bless many people. A lot of people, even I've been blessed and strengthened during some low times or low periods of my life while I was in that system. So I can't say that it didn't help me at all, right? But as I matriculated through it and as I began to grow more and more, I began to find deeper truths, right, that led me outside of Christianity and really brought me into the root of all spiritual systems, which is African spirituality. That African spirituality is the root of all spiritual systems. A lot of those who are in different systems, whether you be Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, whatever it is, within those systems, you're never really taught the root of where those things come from, right? And sometimes it's because they don't know, and they still don't know. And then in many cases they know, but refuse to speak on that because of the repercussions that could come behind it, right? Financial repercussions. Their name is at stake, their family is at stake. All kinds of things are at stake when you belong to a system, when you're locked into a system, and now you're saying, hey, I realize that there's a deeper truth here, and this deeper truth is going to expose the lies that we were given, and maybe even some lies that even I was teaching unbeknowingly, right? I myself was actually teaching lies unbeknowingly to me, because I hadn't matured to the place where I could handle the exposure of the lies for myself. And I'm gonna be honest with you, even when lies, things were being exposed to me, I still wrestled with it for a season. I still wrestled with it, but I kept wrestling. I couldn't let it go until the light went off, right? The divine enlightenment happened where I began to get greater understanding, right? And I began to see the deeper truth, and I began to see where things come from, how things were formed, how things were put together, how it was presented to us, and why we embraced it, right? In many cases, we were, our ancestors were force-fed this information because, before, as an American, and I say American meaning, I was born and raised here in America. As an American, I realized as I began to study the African diaspora, which is basically the spreading or the migration of Africans from the original place of man, which is Africa. We begin to migrate out and begin to populate the land, right? The globe, not just one area. We begin to populate the globe. Some went north, some went south, some went east, some went west, some went, we start spreading out into pretty much every continent and beyond. And so when that began to happen, that's when certain things began to change. And some of the change was a byproduct of the change in the atmosphere, the change in nature, the change in language, the development of languages. Those things happen. But as those things begin to happen over the centuries, a lot of information began to purposely get hidden, so that agendas that certain individuals had could be established, and they could successfully advance in their agendas and begin to control things. Because we have to understand that whoever establishes historical record, right? Whoever establishes historical record is able to control the masses or the groups that are connected to them, right? And we still see that on today. I live in a state right now that the state of Florida. The governor here in Florida is even looking to still progress and sanction things, where he's looking to set up rules and laws that will shut down the ability to teach certain historical truths, right? When it comes to historical lineage of different nationalities, right? Shutting down, the teaching of the African diaspora, right? Shutting that down. In the moment you shut that down, you begin to put things in a box where the historical record that you want to push for your agenda is what begins to take precedent over the people. And over time, it allows them to manipulate and control the masses in the state. And so, it's something that we as a people, right? As a people, I don't care what nationality you are. We as a people, it doesn't matter which party you belong to. This is like goes beyond party lines right now. This is beyond party lines. But I want to say that it's very important for those of you who are transitioning, maybe you even in questioning many things, right? The fact that you're questioning where you are, right? What spiritual system you've been involved in, what was handed to you. The fact that you're questioning means that there is more that you need to explore. There's more that needs to be revealed to you. And it's okay to take your time in doing so. You don't have to up and abandon ship or jump camp and then out here feeling delirious. Take your time with it. Do your own research. I tell people, do your own research. Study. Don't go by just what you hear, what you heard. Just take your time and do the research. Those of you who have already abandoned ship, and many people, one of the things I realize that when you abandon a certain ship, you still tend to take on certain traits that you learned while you were in that environment. You try to bring that over, right? And so sometimes when you do that, you end up frustrating your growth because you're looking for a certain format that was always comfortable to you, and sometimes that can hinder your growth. But let me say this to you, that one thing you have to learn to do is to relax, because you have to realize that your ancestors that dwell in your DNA are fully aware of where you are and what's happening. As a matter of fact, that ancestral influence that's in your DNA is what's pushing you. And that same ancestral influence that's in your DNA is what will guide you into truth and into greater truth and bring you into that realm of what's called ma'at, right? And so when we study ma'at, we have to understand that it is the way of life, right? Ma'at is like the way of life. It is righteousness, justice, truth, balance, recompense. We begin, when you study that, listen, understand something, that Ma'at is not another religion. It's not another religion at all. You have Christians who study Ma'at, you have Islam who study Ma'at. It's just a way of life, right? As a matter of fact, all of those religious groups took the principles of Ma'at and implemented them in their particular system when they formed their system. They looked at, because it is what our ancestors, the original man, had begun to develop Ma'at based on nature, so that they can move in balance and get understanding and gain insight, right? So as we continue to study Ma'at and begin to move in Ma'at, we're able to have a strong connection with the Creator. Have whether you call him Creator, the Most High, whether you call him God, whether you call him Allah, whatever it is that you call the supreme being of all, right? You're able to connect with him because of you moving in Ma'at, learning that righteousness and justice and that balance, and learning to love. Okay, so when you do that, you're forming a greater connection. We're actually already born with the ability to connect from the day you're born, from the day you conceive. You come into the earth already with that divine connection and that ability to obtain Ma'at, that place of balance, right? Knowing the difference between right and wrong. You already know you're born with it. You're born with it. And so that same mechanism that's birthed down on the inside of us, we're able to move forward and begin to know him, begin to do life with him, right? And so I want to encourage you guys, right? For whether you are on the line of coming out of your religious system, or maybe you're still in it, maybe you're just inquiring, maybe you just have questions, or whatever it is. Just understand, let Ma'at lead you. Let the ancestors that dwell on the inside of you, that are dwelling in our DNA, right? The reason that they're able to even trace your DNA, right, is because your ancestors are alive and well, speaking and pushing through your DNA, right? They have, all you have to do is yield to the voice. This is by divine design. This is the way God has designed it. Right, and so all you have to do is yield and just allow that voice to push you through, bring you into a deeper understanding. It's something that you will sense throughout your lifetime. It's not something that just happens one day and that's it. It's something you experience through your lifetime. And as you grow, you learn, you perfect the ear, your intuition. Right, because it's that intuition that the ancestors are speaking to you. They're speaking to you through your intuition. It's how we begin to operate, begin to move. And so, listen, I want you guys to just be encouraged as you transition. Be encouraged as you come into this thing, and know that the Most High has your greatest interest at heart. God loves you. He cares for you. And it's his desire to bring you closer to him. And understand that as long as you're trapped in the box of a religious system, you will always have that glass ceiling over you. Okay, you'll always have that glass ceiling over you. But just know that you have the ability to crack the glass and come through. You have the ability to crack the glass and come through. And listen, know that my heart is with you. My love is with you. Those of you who you may not agree with me, whether it be friends, family, foe, just know my heart is with you. I love you. I'm continuing to grow. My hope and my desire is that you continue to grow, even in the systems that you choose to walk in the season of your life, because I know that as you continue to grow, eventually you will apex to a place where you say, hey, now I have to crack this glass. I have to go through, because I'm now stale. I'm stagnant. I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. And there's got to be more than what I know. It's got to be more to this, and that I'm ready for the revealing of the root of who I am, why I've been sent here, where I'm going, and how to move forward in advance in my spiritual life. So listen, you all be continuously strengthening your pursuit, and I charge you with the love through my eye, and with righteousness and justice and peace, and may my eye be your portion. All right, hotep to you all. Peace.